You're watching Mohawk TV's special presentation of Candidates Night for the 2012 Mohawk Council of Kahnawake elections.
First thing I want to do is to thank my nominators, who this year happen to be my mother and my father, Stuart Phillips and Alice Phillips. I'm very proud and fortunate to have both my parents still with me, to act as my mentors, give me some guidance, and also as respected elders in this community. It's good to have them always just a phone call or a visit away. Well, a little bit about myself. I know most people know who I am. I've been around this council for some time. I'm married to Wendy Walker for over 20 years. I have two daughters, Amanda Lee Phillips, and as well as Ashlyn West Phillips, who's here with me this evening. I've been around for some time, as you may know. I've been involved in many different files, some minor or smaller files, helping individuals with their day-to-day problems. It's something that all council members have to do, and something that I enjoy doing, helping people on a one-to-one basis. But also, I enjoy tackling the major political files. There's many, many issues that are facing our community. Now, we can talk about many issues all night long, from jurisdictional issues to funding cutbacks, to use of the seaway, economic development. There's many, many issues. And I'm very comfortable jumping into just about any one of those files and doing my best to move the issues forward. We're at a very critical time in our community. It's been said over many elections over the years, well, this is a critical time, and this is a critical time. And I may have even used that line in the past. But really, now, with a conservative government in place, with the policies they're developing, the direction they're moving, their lack of respect for Native rights, the lack of respect for half of their own citizens, for that matter, is clear. And it's time now, more than ever, for us to take very strong stances. It's time for a council to re-strategize in many of the files we're working on, work with the community, and take some very strong and hard positions to move these issues forward. At the same time, we also have to remember, for every action, there's a reaction. In politics, it's a matter of balance. We have to look at what our political ideals are, what we hold dear to our hearts as Mohawks of Kahnawake. Listen to what people got to say in our community, but also think of what the reaction will be out there, and balance it all off, and see what is right for our community to move forward. It's easy to say no, 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 and bang a table, but when the door slams in your face, and we have to deal with the consequences in our community, it's not always easy. So we have to be very strategic, plan carefully, and move forward together. I've been involved in many files in the past 3 years. We reestablished what we call our KCR, our Kahnawake-Canada relations, where we're trying once again to get Canada out of our business of making Indians, where they're still trying to tell us who is a Mohawk of Kahnawake and who is not, using their Indian Act, telling us who can own land and how to use that land based on their Indian Act. So we have to continue to move forward, have our own Kahnawake membership laws that is recognized by the outside so they can get out of our business, as well as our own land code so we can govern our land the way we want as Mohawks of Kahnawake. I work a lot with other First Nations. I work with the chiefs of Quebec as well as from across the country on finding ways of common ground where we can fight government together. Sometimes there's a lot of strengths in numbers. Share strategies, share opinions on many different issues. Because sometimes what's happening in BC, federal policies happen over there, are the same thing that's happening here. And working together is the best way to go at times. But as well, at the same time, you have to ensure that Kahnawak's authority, or the way we view things, is known and also respected. I've worked on a drug task force, which you may have heard of in the past while. It's been on the news. And let me just make some points really clear. I've been peacekeeper liaison for 3 years. I also held a position in the past. I was able to successfully negotiate extra $500,000 over 2 years, and that will also help our community. But I work on a drug task force, which is still in process. It's not a completed project yet. But what the goal of this is to get the resources needed to have our own investigative unit, to where we can have investigators, specialized training, so we can really have a concrete and combat drugs in our community, combat the drug and drug dealers in our community. I actually had a couple of people campaigning against me because I took a very strong stance on this. Well, I ask you, the people, if you support combating drugs in our community, I ask you to support me as well. Because this is not about going after cigarettes, it's not about the outside, this is about protecting Kahnawake jurisdiction, protecting our future generations. With that, thank you, good night.
Last time, I was so focused and preoccupied on reading what I had prepared that after the fact I realized I wasn't speaking to and with yous, I was reading to yous. And I told myself I would never do that to you again. We need this connectivity here. We need to be someone who's driving the boat and people who are riding the boat. We need to be together. We need to be as one. That goes together. That also goes in line with what the council table is. The council table is not a one-man show. It's not a one-woman show. It's a team effort. There's 12 people sitting there, 12 different ideas, 12 ways of looking at things, 12 ways of everything. And for the most part, it's coming together for the common goal. The common goal is of Kahnawake, to push Kahnawake into the next generation, the next decade, the next century. It's to ensure our survival. You know, it's people, my worst, I shouldn't say my worst, but my biggest critics say that I'm too philosophical. Well, to those critics I say, show me, not just a Mohawk, but show me an Indian who is not philosophical. Show me an Indian who cares about the issues, who is passionate about what they do, who believes truly in what they're doing every single day of the week. I'm one of those people. And you know, if you don't see that in me, you don't really know me. Some of the stuff that I have a hard time with is the criticism. People think that every day 12 people wake up and go to work, and all we do is we sit there and think, how are we going to turn the screws on our own people? How are we going to do something in a negative way to our people? Well, you know what? We don't do that. We go to work every day and we do our best. I mean, we live here. Our families are here. Our grandparents are here or buried here. Everybody that we know and love is here. Why would we do anything that's a detriment to the people of Kahnawake, the community we love? You know, it just does not make sense, and I don't think it's very fair to always be constantly, you know, that thrown at us. You know, we do a good job, and I think the Mohawk Council of Kahnawake is something that everybody should be proud of. Sure, we have our, you know, our downfalls. Sure, nothing is perfect, you know, but what house is? You tell me, you know. But every day we get up and we go to work, and it's an absolute joy. It's an absolute privilege to work for all of you. Some of the stuff I've been working on over the past 3 years, as you all know, former Chief John D. Delormier left in, I think it was 2 months now. At that point, I took over the lands portfolio, and I have the good fortune to be working with a whole lot of great people at the lands unit. And, you know, rest assured, our lands are being very well taken care of by that dedicated group of people over there. But there's issues pertaining to our lands that really need focus. We have approximately 6 dump sites within the community of Kahnawake, 6 toxic dump sites. We need to be working and going forward and cleaning that up. It's at the table. We are talking, you know, with Canada about it. As a matter of fact, I share the KCR file with my colleague, Chief Lloyd Phillips, who just spoke about the KCR table. We're on the land unit. The Grand Chief and Martin LeBorn are also on the KCR table in membership. And, you know, the last meeting we had with Canada, I kind of got a little bit annoyed and kind of, you know, not kind of, I did tell them that, you know, my patience was wearing thin with the slow motion of everything happening at that table, or not happening, I should say. So I have no problems, you know, punching when I have to punch, and you know, calling a spade a spade. I have absolutely no problem with that. Thank you. You know, the one thing I'd like to say is that, you know, again, being criticized in the community. The council, I see the council as, you know, we were given the seed, yeah, maybe by Ottawa, true, but it was Mohawks that took that seed. It's Mohawks of Kahnawake who planted that seed. It's Mohawks of Kahnawake who nurtured that seed. It's Mohawks of Kahnawake who watched that seed grow into the tree that it is. That tree is the Mohawk Council of Kahnawake. It truly is homegrown by us, by yous, by everybody that lives in Kahnawake. It's truly what we did And I think that's something to be really proud of. I have not lost sight of who I work for. I work for all the youth. I have not lost the passion, the determination, and the insight to see Kahnawake move into into the future. And thank you.
Wat konorado de wadadega, gasanahawe sky deer ni waksanoda, asani wasa degni na the wago serdiago, dana wagatahuni. My name is Gasanahawe Sky Deer. I'm 32 years of age and I'm a member of the Wolf Clan. This is my second term running for council, and I have to say that the experience that I gained and the knowledge that I gained in the past term, really helped to shape me as a person. I have to commend my colleagues that I worked with in the past 3 years because we dealt with a lot of issues as a table. And again, yes, we are a team. And I have to say again, what Clinton was reiterating about the criticism we get as a council. It was mentioned about the 1979 mandate to return to traditional government. And if there was a traditional government in place right now, would you still criticize clan mothers, traditional chiefs in the way that people criticize us? I mean, we're here day after day trying to make the best decisions possible on behalf of our people. And it poses to be very difficult. I wake up every day, I feel like I have a good mind, good spirit, good heart. I'm really trying to regain my knowledge of Kanien'kehá:ka and going back to the Longhouse and knowing our ceremonies and our traditions, because that's who we are as Kanien'kehá:ka people. And if ever in the future we are to fulfill this mandate, I know there are things that are happening right now that are in line with that, such as the community decision-making process, which is one of the portfolios I'm on, and it's giving the voice back to the people. But what we see is a lot of complacency, and people will say, well, I elected you, go and make decisions on my behalf. But there are a good deal of people in the community that want to have that voice, that want to have direct democracy. So as we move, maybe away from this Indian Act system and become, more of the people that we want to see ourselves in the future, we need strong leaders, and we need people that are going to be able to speak and carry on those words, the good minds. And again, like I said, knowledge of who we are and our language is very important to me. And I was, given the opportunity in the working for MCK, that there is a Mohawk language and cultural training program. There is the incorporating identity into governance. So I think all of us need to, take those concepts and develop, like I said, the future government that we want. I'm open to that. Some of the other portfolios that I'm working on, of course, is with the youth. The Youth Forum, I feel, is a very important thing to offer young people a voice of where this community is headed. Education as well was one of my portfolios, because I think myself as a young person growing up in this community, we're always taught that it takes a community to raise a child, that education is the foundation of our community. So we have to continue to provide opportunities for the young people. We know there's funding cuts for education. We know that there's this big issue right now with combined school committee and all this kinds of stuff, but you know what? The people have to get involved. It's not just up to the 12 people that you elect, because if we want to have, a voice and a say in the direction that we're headed, we as a people need to come together. And what I want to see is, I know that the constitution of our education system, it hasn't been changed since 1996. There's some changes that need to be updated for today. I know Jessica had wrote some things about there's no representation for post-secondary students. It's so important for them to have a voice. Yeah, Nyankwa. So important for them to have a voice and to be able to participate, like I said, in where our community is headed. So with that, I thank everybody who put their vote next to my name for the last election. I came to work, I was accountable. I feel like I did the best job that I could to represent this community, and I hope that you will give me that same support for the next 3 years. Tony Owanagin.
Good evening, everyone. My name's Rhonda Kirby, and I'm not telling you how old I am. Some of the portfolios that I've had this year, sorry. Some of the portfolios that I've worked on in this term are labor, which included MSI and the qualification program. I've also worked on transport, which looks at the 207, and the train station stop is coming. Sports and recreation unit, I follow capital and public works. I also sit on FAO, which is finance, operations, and administration. I work on Child Care Authority, the Athletic Commission, and I've been sitting on the hospital board for the last 6 years, waiting for the announcement for the expansion project for the hospital. So I'd like to thank all of our staff at this point who have given their dedication and support on these files. Without them, it certainly wouldn't have gone as far as they have. It's not an individual that carries each file, but we look forward to all of our staff helping us out. And with that in mind, I'd also like to say to you, as people who will be voting in the election, that it's important to choose a team that will be committed and dedicated. It's important for you to look at the abilities of each of the candidates, what they have to offer, what they've done in the community, and what they, what they can do. You've heard tonight the many challenges that we have here, and as well as the future, there will be others. So it's up to you to make that good decision. As well as council working on it, it's up to all of us to make this community a better place. Thank you.
We'll be back with more coverage of Candidates Night after this quick commercial break.